Hello and welcome to yet another very special episode, the conversations with YCO torchbearers. And we have one of India's most iconic and celebrated chefs, Chef Ranveer Brar, with us. And on a momentous occasion, because it's his birthday today. Happy birthday, Chef.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Chef, let's begin by speaking about your experiences in the YCO, as somebody who's watched YCO very closely as a judge over the years, and how has YCO evolved according to you?
Well, I think YCO. I've been a part of the YCO from the second or the third season onward. For me, what started off as a thought of getting young chefs of the world together has really taken shape to not just bring young chefs of the world together, but some of the biggest culinary brains of the world together. And I think over the years, YCO has stood for all that food is supposed to stand for.
Right.
Bringing people together, harmony, bringing out your best, bringing out the best in people. And over the last 4 years or so, YCO has really found its global voice with creating conversations along with the United Nations, creating conversations that are global, impactful, meaningful, conversations around sustainability, conversations around UN resolutions.
That's right.
I think it's an initiative that sort of is now taking its own shape, which is fantastic.
You're right, because this is a conversation that is now ongoing and very natural. Sustainable development goals and sustainability are not forced conversations in the room because they have to be, but it's a part of the whole process, and it comes very, very, very naturally. The other thing you may have felt is the whole internationalization of the YCO, because the countries come here, they participate, and they go back not necessarily to their colleges, but they go back to their countries as well, and present the YCO to them when they go back. How important does that happen, and does it need to happen even more, so that right now, as Dr. Bose says, YCO belongs to India and is shared with the world? How can that sharing increase?
I think it needs to increase with the Indian culinary community endorsing it wholeheartedly first.
Right.
And it's by the community, I mean the education ecosystem as well as the industry ecosystem.
Right.
I think that this time we took a big step, handing over the initiative to the country.
Right.
When we said, India should be represented by the best Indian student chef, not necessarily from the IIHM. This time when we handed out the baton to other colleges, other students to be able to represent themselves as candidates for the Indian candidature per se.
Yes.
That's already happened. And the more the industry and the education ecosystem comes together to own it as Indian, the more we can take it global. I think that's the most logical next step to it. And also, you mentioned a lot of these students come here and then they go back not just to their colleges, but also to their
country. Yes.
They also go back with the realization that when it comes to food, there isn't really much difference between cultures, countries, people. When it comes to cooking, when it comes to being around food, when it comes to temperament around food, interacting with ingredients, we're all the same.
Correct.
And that emotion is a broader emotion, which sort of, which is very important in a world that is looking to find its own poles.
Yes. That brings me actually to my next question, which you actually mentioned. At the end of the day, though this is a competition, but the spirit of collaboration is bursting through the kitchens, through the hotels where they are in, and everywhere else. They're collaborating at every step, even when listening to music and dancing, and that shows everywhere. And importantly, the Dr. Suborno Bose Challenge Trophy, which is relatively new in the ecosystem, YCO ecosystem, has somehow moved. Not surprisingly, though, a lot of judges. For instance, they saw collaboration at work, whether language of food overcame the restrictions of language barriers. When somebody who didn't speak English at all collaborated with somebody who spoke English and vice versa, and this collaboration really shone through when they were collaborating to compete for the Dr. Suborno Bose challenge, and so their cultures and intermingled, their ingredients intermingled, and the food became a great explosion of fusion. Um, so, if you could just tell us your thoughts, when you heard of the Dr. Suborno Bose challenge and your experience, and did you get the same emotions
I always say the world is united by love, fear, and competition.
Right.
Right. We share love. We share fears, and we share competitiveness, and the ability to create a space that brings in love, fear, and competition all together. I think that's what the Dr. Suborno Bose challenge has done. Collaboration also is I always say it's a form of getting people together, whether it's competition or collaboration, and it is always shown through. And and food as a catalyst to be able to bring out the collaborative oneness,
Right.
Has always been a great tool. Yeah.
IIHM, of course, has been the fulcrum of all this, and creating the YCO experience, and then and with people like you coming in it to guide and handhold. But my mind also goes back to the fact that it is an event which has been also handled by students of IIHM. It's an event that they breathe, they live, and they execute, all three of them. And the important part is that this is not an extracurricular activity for any of them. They are very much a part of their curriculum, and they look forward to this, and so on and so forth. How much does the YCO experience for IIHM students train them to be better culinary professionals and better culinary ambassadors as they go forward?
I think, like I said, some things can only be caught and not taught, right?
Yeah.
And handling an event like this is something that can only be experienced when you do it.
Yeah.
As much as you speak about it.
Right.
The magnitude of this event, where you get 50 plus countries, you do multi-city competitions, and you do a grand finale to the scale that we've done it here, by itself is an event management nightmare.
Yep.
Right? And on top of that, when people learn that it's all handled primarily by students, I think it's a big win. It's a big win for everybody. It's a big win for IIHM, because the industry understands the kind of confidence executing an event like this would give. It's a big win for the students because they go back with that confidence. And more importantly, it's a big win for the industry overall.
Right.
Because all these students, when they go back to their countries and they say that, hey, kids in India handled an event of this magnitude, all of us win.
The other very friendly elephant in the room this time has been the focus on AI, because technology is something that's no longer good to do, but it's a need to do thing now. And we've kind of IIHM is focused on the AI integration, not necessarily as something that's overpowering, but as a tool that basically allows people more time to do what they do best, be humane, to have human touches, and so on and so forth. And Dr. Bose's book, the whole A to Z on hospitality, is a step in that direction. Your thoughts on this, AI integration, and we call it advanced intelligence and not artificial intelligence, into the hospitality ecosystem.
In the industry, we were always asked this question when AI came: what will it do to our jobs? What will it do to restaurant jobs? Will people have their own jobs? Everything's going to be done by AI. I think last couple of years, what we've clearly understood is that if you know how to use it, it makes you better. The problem is knowing how to use it.
Right.
And I think that being a big thrust at IIHM will solve a much bigger problem for the workforce of the future, right? I know for sure that there are courses that have been started in the US, 3 months and 6 month courses on how to speak to AI.
Right.
How do you groom your AI? How do you get the best out of your AI?
Right.
So it's just not about AI. It's also about how do you utilize the AI for the right ability.
Yes. Yes.
And now with so if you open my phone, there's DeepSeek, there's Chat GPT. Me myself, I have literal conversations with AI. I have video calls with my AI to if I get lost, and if I show them, they will come back to me with everything. So
right.
And the more we do it, the more we get to know the potential of it and the abilities of it.
Correct. And also the humaneness of it, ironically, in the sense that, even in the hospitality industry, if the AI tools are handling different processes, like, handling the concierge, handling your waste management and so on and so forth, it actually gives you more time to engage in guest experiences.
Yeah, and also I think it also allows you to derive faster.
Yes.
Like I said, we're at a time when we are so data driven.
Right.
At a time when knowledge is plenty, but wisdom is scarce.
Yes.
We can't read it all. We need somebody to sort of narrow it down for us and say, give me 10 points.
Great.
On how do you do it.
Right.
So that's basically what it does. If you're intelligent enough to ask the intelligent questions, it will have the right answers for you.
Another thing that I'd like to share with you is that IIHM has gone a step further, and they have decided, and they're working on a Chat GPT type app called NamAIste Hospitality GPT, which precisely ensures that there's a lot of knowledge sharing, search, convergence of knowledge, and essentially act very intelligently to help the hospitality industry and processes. And so, I mean, in the sense that, what are your thoughts on just the concept?
About this to Dr. Bose a while back. We've had this in our discussions for a while.
Right.
And almost all AI apps, the challenge is how do you get more people to use them, because they learn from you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. So I think I'm very, very interested in seeing how do we create a culture that uses AI, because while we are linearly learning from it, it's exponentially learning from us.
Yes.
Right. And I think that for me is the interesting next step. Getting more people to interface with NamAIste Hospitality AI,
right?
GPT as we call it.
Yeah.
And I think it's a great initiative. The least that it will solve is allow people to just accept and endorse advanced intelligence or artificial intelligence that you talk about.
Okay, Chef. Before we conclude, as we move forward, and and the YCO movement is only growing, it will get into its teenage years right now. Looking forward, how do you see the future of the YCO should become?
I think it's time we as a country endorsed the YCO. We as a country collaborated with IIHM to say this is something that has started in India.
Right.
It is Indian more than IIHM's. So it is one of a kind initiative. No country in the world has gone to this level of commitment towards a global culinary event that Dr. Bose and the IIHM family has. It's time we picked up that commitment from them and built it up together to something that is our own, and then take it to the world.
Chef Ranveer Brar, it's been an absolute pleasure having you here. Thank you so much. Pleasure.
IIHM. For a great hospitality career, call 98310 50,000.